see celebrity meltdowns and political scandals all the time, but we rarely get an opportunity to actually be, there in the room while it's happening.
Not cowering.
Married to one of Hillary Clinton's closest advisors.
You never back down from anybody.
A photo of an anonymous...
What I was excited to do with this film, what Elise and I were excited to do with this film, to a large extent, was to take somebody that really had been reduced in the public eye to a caricature and a punchline and a joke, but who I had known as a more complete person. I had worked for him when he was in Congress. Anthony very much wanted to talk about something else, his issues and his platform for mayor.
How many women were there? Can you remember?
What I would like to talk about is housing in the Bronx. Any questions about that?
I mean, the thing about Huma's story is, as much as Anthony was reduced and ridiculed through the course of his scandal, I think in many ways, so was she. Very intense judgment sort of heaped on her for her decision to stand by him. I was in the room with Anthony and Huma on the morning that the scandal broke, about halfway through the mayor's campaign. New revelations about his sexting scandal came out. Even after Anthony actually kicked or asked most of his staff to leave the room, I was there continuing to film. It was a very intense moment, and there were a lot of moments like that where obviously I knew these people, and I was sharing some of the feelings and the intensity of what was going on. In the course of Anthony Weiner's campaign, you get to see how much spectacle really drives the conversation. A similar dynamic playing out in presidential politics today with a figure like Donald Trump. To have a voice, you have to put on a show. A lot of people, have this question, as we do in the film, of why he let us film him, and he. I think he does touch on a bit of an answer when he talks about wanting to be viewed as the full person that he was and more than just a punchline. The contrast between the story as it played out in the public, in the headlines and in news clips, and obviously it did play out in a big way, and that was the story that most of us knew, and contrasting that with the reality behind the headlines. I hope that what comes through is just a recognition that some of the easy narratives and the judgments that we sort of naturally, pass on people and events as they unfold like this, some of those judgments are maybe a little bit too simplistic, and the reality is more complex.
Doing a documentary on my scandal.
Hi.